Hello everyone, welcome to the Tech and Auto Show. I'm your host Manav Sinha and it is so good to see all of you lovely people once again. In case you're new here, welcome. This is that one show which satisfies your hunger for both technology as well as automobiles at one place, which basically means if you love technology and if you love automobiles, why should you be watching two shows when you can watch one? This one. Now for those of you who are our regular viewers will notice that something's a little bit different right now. Well, the difference is that I have done all of this thing by myself, so please pardon the production quality that you are used to. I'm trying my best here. But you know what we all should be trying right now? Should be trying to stay safe. Because well, the coronavirus pandemic is catching up once again. It's spreading faster than ever. I know we don't like it, but it is something that we have to deal with. And the way to deal with it is by staying at home. Sanitize, stay away from people as much as you can, and stay indoors until unless it's absolutely necessary. We need to fight this together in order to come out on the brighter side, and we will, I assure you. Nevertheless, it doesn't mean that we stop on the action that you're here for. So let's talk about the things that you will be seeing over the course of the next half an hour. This week on the Tech and Auto Show, we will be taking you for a drive in the all-new Mercedes-Benz E-Class long wheelbase. Then we'll be taking a look at the entry-level offering in the OnePlus 9 series of smartphones by telling you our review of the OnePlus 9R. And then we'll also tell you about the best gaming smartphone that we've ever got our hands on. So yes, all of that action will be coming your way, and we're going to start off with the Mercedes-Benz E-Class. Now that car has been the definitive luxury sedan in the Indian market for decades now. And for the year 2021, it has got itself an update. It's back with better styling, more features and more space. But is it still the king of the segment that we know it to be? Well, Arjit Garg has got his hands on the car, and here's what he has to say about it.
If there is one global car maker that considers India as important as rest of the markets in the world, it has to be Mercedes-Benz, and that has helped it become the largest luxury car maker in our country. But what is more important is the fact that among the products of the Mercedes itself, there is one car that holds utmost importance for this brand. Now this car has been in India for more than 25 years now and contributes to almost 30% of the total Mercedes sales. Well, meet the Mercedes-Benz E-Class long wheelbase. Now, Mercedes has just launched the updated E-Class in India, and we'll today see what's new in this car and how good it is to drive. The very first thing you notice in the new E-Class is the fact that how the design has evolved over the years. The new model has a no-nonsense approach that makes the car feel stately and classy. Yet there are few elements that add to the overall bulk and persona. You can see a butch bonnet with prominent lines, sharp LED lights designed as inverted tick sign, and large air intakes adding to the personality. The side gets subtle chrome treatment, 18-inch AMG double-spoke alloys and a prominent shoulder line, while the newly designed rear gets split tail lamp and fresh bumper. Overall, the E-Class long wheelbase is more about class and less about screaming personality. Now, since it is a long wheelbase Mercedes, I'll start my cabin review by sitting at the back seat here, and the first thing you notice is how airy and spacious the cabin is. The seats here are super comfortable. You get a wireless charging, there's a tab here to practically control everything, and the cabin screams luxury. So if you're someone who loves to be chauffeur driven, this is a near perfect car for you. Mercedes-Benz is giving a detachable Samsung tablet that can control almost everything you can think of inside a cabin at a touch of a button. The rear legroom is mind-boggling, and that is the least we can expect from a Limo version. Not just that, the seats are incredibly comfortable too. You also get rear AC control and storage spaces. The same comfort is carried forward throughout the cabin, with the front seats getting ample cushioning for a comfortable drive. But what has given the new E-Class its character is the dashboard layout and the overall theme. It gets white upholstery, blue shaded upper dashboard leather, a grey wood panel in the center running across the dash and doors, and a few piano black elements thrown into the mix. The ambient lighting strip running across the cabin gives it a very rich and elegant feel, especially in night. In my opinion, nobody does the ambient lighting as good as Mercedes. Now, as soon as you step inside the cabin of the new Mercedes-Benz E-Class long wheelbase, you realize there's a lot happening here. While I don't like this blue color on the top of the dash, it looks super cool for a luxury car. Then there are these two large 12.3-inch screens, which again are the industry best. I also like the fact that Mercedes has added these touch-sensitive buttons on the steering wheel. Other features include a dual digital screen layout like the one we saw in the A-Class with two 10.25-inch screens, one for the infotainment system and one for the instrument panel. There are no buttons on the infotainment screen per se, and you have to control commands using the MBUX command center with a touchpad. The start-stop button is in a peculiar place, but you get used to it. Alongside the touchpad is the ride height control, which is immensely useful in city driving. More features include a panoramic sunroof, Burmeister surround sound system, latest gen connectivity system, among others. Now, Mercedes is offering the E-Class with 3 engine options, same as the outgoing model. There are 2 diesel engine options and there is 1 petrol engine option. The one we are driving today is the 350D diesel engine AMG line, which has a 3-liter V6 engine producing 286 bhp and 600 Nm of torque. I will stick out my neck to say this is the best Mercedes in a long time that I have enjoyed driving. The car offers super fun to drive characteristics thanks to the AMG line top spec model we drove, with tremendous torque pushing the car from 0 to 100 in just 6.1 seconds, an incredible figure for a car of this size. Mercedes is also offering the air body control as standard in this variant, which means you get a very plush ride quality, especially if you are sitting in the rear seats. The steering is tuned to perfection while the braking is on point too. While the NVH levels are negligible inside the cabin, you can hear the diesel clutter standing outside, which is rather loud. Safety wise, the E-Class long wheelbase gets active brake assist, 360-degree camera, 7 airbags, TPMS, active park assist with Parktronics, active bonnet, among much more. While the new Mercedes-Benz E-Class long wheelbase still remains one of the best chauffeur-driven cars you can buy in India, I would stick out my neck to say this is the first Mercedes and not AMG that I thoroughly enjoyed driving. Buy this car for its no-nonsense appeal, loads of cabin space, some cool added features like dual screens we first saw in the A-Class, and of course the Mercedes-Benz brand name.
Now let's move on to the world of technology, where OnePlus has come out with the OnePlus 9 series of smartphones. And now it is a usual thing that when OnePlus comes out with a new series of phones, it basically becomes one of the biggest tech events of the year. This year has been no different. There are 3 new OnePlus 9 series phones that have come out. They've got the OnePlus 9R, you've got the regular OnePlus 9, and you've got the OnePlus 9 Pro. However, the 9R is the entry-level phone that brings you to the OnePlus 9 family. So, are they cutting any corners? What are you getting for your money? Well, Vishal is telling you more about it up next.
The general rule is whenever you buy the most inexpensive product in any product line, the thing is you will always be compromising. Either you'll be compromising on the specs or the experience or the overall package as a whole. That's true for cars. If you're buying the base variant or the mid-spec variant, you will miss out on a lot of features. If you're buying, let's say, an entry spec model of a laptop, you will miss out on certain features that the higher end variants have. Same for television, same for smartphones. However, there's a very pleasant change, and that's been brought about by OnePlus. The OnePlus 9 series, the latest and the greatest phones that have been there from OnePlus till now, the OnePlus 9 Pro, the OnePlus 9, and now the OnePlus 9R, basically complete what is a troika of excellent phones. In this case, even if you're buying the cheapest, the most inexpensive variant in the lineup, you're not really compromising. We're talking about the OnePlus 9R, which is the most inexpensive OnePlus 9 series phone right now. And this starts under the 40,000 rupee price point for a fairly powerful 8 gigs of RAM, 128 GB storage and the Snapdragon 870 processor. Here it is in all its glass and metal glory, and what you get is, well, actually this is OnePlus going back to the roots of a proper flagship killer phone. So if you don't have really got an appetite for, let's say, the OnePlus 9 or the OnePlus 9R purely in terms of price, this could just be the phone for you to upgrade from one of your existing phones. Let me just run you through what's new and what's similar. From the outset, this very much looks and feels like a OnePlus phone. When I'm holding it, there seems to be no compromise in terms of the build quality. It's glass, it's metal, it's really well put together. This doesn't feel like a cut price phone. This doesn't feel like a light phone, if I may use that term. In terms of the display size, again, you get a fairly large screen. It's a very light phone, it's slim, it's got curved sides, and it feels great to hold. This is the blue color variant. You also get a black in case you want something more conventional. This looks great. OnePlus phones have continued to bring in what is the alert slider, a very convenient slider here to let you switch between the ring, the silent and the vibrate mode. This is great. No other Android phone really seems to put weightage to this particular element. It's very convenient, so much so it's priceless in certain situations where you may not want to look at the phone but still want to either put it on silent or put it on the vibrate mode. In terms of the performance, I've noticed the Qualcomm Snapdragon 870 along with 8 gigs of RAM and 12 gigs of RAM really does get the job done. Even if you're buying this with 8 gigs of RAM, it's going to be very fast. 12 gigs of RAM just gives you that much more versatility in terms of future proofing. OnePlus has laid a lot of emphasis on gaming for this particular phone, and in the truest sense, this is a very powerful phone and therefore the gaming experience is really good. I, for someone, like to play a lot of racing games, and the experience with F1 Mobile in particular has been very good. No drop frames, no heating of the phone on the back, and really smooth performance all through. There's this very slight, this tepidness that is, I mean, you can feel it somewhere around here when you really stress this phone either with camera usage or with navigation or with gaming at times, but there's no scenario where you can really say that the OnePlus 9R heats up. It doesn't. In terms of the battery performance, this again is a very consistent performer. What you get is the Warp Charge 65, which is very fast. As expected at this price point, perhaps you don't get wireless charging, but then again, that's in my book not a deal breaker at all. The cameras at the back are led by a 48 megapixel sensor. This is not a Hasselblad camera, there is no Hasselblad involvement in this one, but clearly OnePlus's learnings from the Hasselblad partnership for the OnePlus 9 and OnePlus 9 Pro really seem to be working well here as well. This is a great camera in daytime, this is a great camera in low light, and just everything seems to come together much better than what OnePlus phones till now had managed on the camera front, at least out of the box. There will be software updates which will further improve this, but at this particular time I really have nothing to criticize about the camera bit. All in all, the OnePlus 9R, though it's the cheapest phone in the OnePlus 9 series, is anything but that. It doesn't feel like it doesn't look like it, and it doesn't perform like anything which is on a compromise, which is on a limitation, and which has been restricted by the price. OnePlus has always been known very well for flagship killer phones. They've also gone into the flagship space now, but the OnePlus 9R really is a return to those roots of the OnePlus 5 and the OnePlus 5T and the OnePlus 6 and so on. This is a very good phone for you if you need that flagship grade performance. You don't want to really compromise on the experience, but don't have a budget big enough for a flagship. OnePlus 9R really fits there very well. This is, well, you can't really call it a gaming phone. I wouldn't call it a gaming phone because that kind of restricts the demographic that may then look for the OnePlus 9R. It's not a gaming phone, it's a very powerful phone for pretty much everyone.
Welcome back. You're watching the Tech and Auto Show and I'm your host Manav Sinha. Now before going for the short commercial break, I promised you that once we're back, we will be talking about a gaming smartphone. Turns out it's no regular gaming smartphones, it's one of the best gaming smartphones that money can buy you right now. It's called the ASUS ROG Phone 5. Our in-house gaming champion Shavik has given it the beans, has pushed it to the max, has tested it out, and here's what he has to say about the phone. The question I'm looking forward to is that yes, it's a great gaming smartphone, but how is it as a phone? Well, let's head on over to Shavik to find out more.
It's not every day that you get to review a smartphone that looks like this. Well, not exactly like this, but even with the accessories included, this, you have to admit, is a pretty cool look for a smartphone. I am of course talking about the ASUS ROG Phone 5, which is the latest gaming phone to have been launched and is sort of like this benchmark that all gaming phones go after when it comes to the commercial aspect of things. Now the ROG Phone 5 also claims that this year it's more practical to be used by the everyday user. Not exactly in this shape, but of course as a standalone device, ASUS hopes that more regular buyers would also go ahead and buy it because it is at the end of the day a very good performing smartphone. But how does it really fare in terms of camera, battery life and everyday usage? Let's find out. Now when it comes to performance, of course the ROG Phone 5 is an excellent device. It's powered by the Snapdragon 888, it gets 12GB RAM, 256GB storage, and all of that is great. If you want to buy the ROG Phone Pro, you get 16GB RAM, and then there is the limited edition ROG 5 Ultimate, which has 18 gigs of RAM if that's something that you want to go after. But even with 12GB RAM and the processor at hand, the ROG Phone 5 is as good a smartphone as you can hope for. It's right up there with all the flagships such as the OnePlus 9 Pro and even the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, which has been launched earlier this year. Now all things considered, given that the phone is such a good performer, everyday performance is just not something that you'd be bothered with. However, there is one problem, which is in the phone's size. With the 6.78-inch display, the ROG Phone 5 is extremely tall. In fact, it's taller than even the Galaxy S21 Ultra, which measures 6.9 inches in size. All of this contributes to the ROG Phone 5 being a little difficult to use on everyday purpose. It's difficult to get out of your pockets and it's also difficult to hold at a stretch and use with one hand, which means tasks like texting and emailing on the go might not be the most ergonomic. However, in terms of overall performance, it's great. Gaming performance in particular is extremely enjoyable. The ROG Phone 5 also gets a 144Hz display, which is what gamers have been after all this time. And the ROG Phone 5 has that too. Screen tearing is not a problem. Most games such as the Call of Duty Mobile does run at the maximum display potential. And all of this combined makes this phone an excellent performing device. But regular usage also includes things such as the camera performance. In this department, it is where the ROG Phone 5 struggles a little bit. The cameras on this phone, which includes a new 64 megapixel Sony sensor, is quite good, but it's a bit of a mixed bag because while it does try to use new algorithms to balance out dynamic range and color performance, it doesn't do as well as, say, the Galaxy S21 Ultra or even the OnePlus 9 Pro, which has come up in partnership with Hasselblad for its cameras. Now, all of these things considered means that the ROG Phone 5 does have a few quirks. Despite that, certain things are quite pleasant, such as the ability to record 8K videos or stabilized full HD 60fps videos, which are quite good. And in fact, in terms of videography, the ROG Phone 5 does do quite well. In terms of battery life as well, it gets a 6000 milliamp battery, and that means the overall battery stamina is quite good. The battery life is quite decent, and in terms of everyday usage, if you use conservatively, you can even use it for 2 full days. With intense gaming, you can still stretch it for over 7 to 8 hours, which is pretty impressive. But at the end of the day, as a regular user, would you buy something like this? You see, the main point of the ROG Phone 5 is that you have to have all these accessories to make the most of what this phone can give you. And on this note, it is undeniably the gamers who can make the most of this. Not just a casual gamer, but a full-on professional gamer. And if you are just not that invested in the industry of gaming, devices such as the OnePlus 9 Pro, the upcoming Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra, and even the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, which is already there in the market, do make for better choices or more practical choices. But if you do like how the ROG Phone 5 looks even without the accessories, and you just want a phone that's a very good performer and you're not that much into using the cameras, it does make for an excellent smartphone to buy.
And with that, we've come to the end of this edition of the Tech and Auto Show. How did you find the show? Is there anything you have to say, anything you want us to cover, or simply want to have a conversation with us? Well, reach out to us on Twitter. We are more than happy to talk. If it's about technology, you can reach out to us at News18 Tech. If it's about automobiles, tweet out to us at News18 Auto. And remember, by logging on to news18.com, you can read out more on both these industries. Well, I've come to the end of the show, but I'm going to end it on the same note once again. Coronavirus pandemic is here. It's pretty much everywhere right now. So you need to take care of yourself. Stay sanitized, stay away from people, stay indoors as much as possible. That's about it for today. I'll catch you same time next week, only on CNN News 18.